Hi everyone, it's Annabelle Fisher, and I tell you, I am feeling a darn sight better today than I was yesterday or through the weekend we just had, which is when I really wanted to do this video. But I had to support what my needs were and not get up in front of the camera trying to be strong, but just honour how lousy my body felt. And to do this when I feel like it, when I have genuinely got the energy. If you don't know me, perhaps it's the first time you've seen this video, in August of last year, 2018, I was given a 2-month prognosis. I had been living with stage 4 ovarian cancer for 3.5 years. It is currently, I don't know what the date is today, April something like the 10th, 2019, and I am still here. So I am in a celebratory mode today because I do genuinely feel so much better than I have done the last certainly 4 days. And isn't it strange how we can just shift, sometimes for no reason, sometimes the reasons are very apparent to us. But I've really learned, certainly over these last, whatever it's been since August, to constantly honour how I feel in the moment. And I put a message on Facebook last week showing people this sweatshirt that I'm wearing. So I'm going to stand up, and it says Unstoppable. So I wanted to tell you the story about this hoodie, this sweater. So I live in a beautiful little village in the lower mainland of British Columbia, and there's a store that sells shoes and clothes and household things. And I was in it a few weeks ago with one of my dear friends, Gina, and she was buying a bunch of new clothes. And I was sitting in my wheelchair, sort of looking through. It's interesting, when you're in a wheelchair, you realise how poorly a lot of clothes shops are designed, because all the shelves and the rails were so high I couldn't reach anything. But anyway, perfectly at my eye level was a bunch of the, well actually bunch, or only 3 different sizes. I think it was extra small, small and medium. Of this sweater. Now this is a colour I wouldn't even look at for me, I wouldn't think would suit me, but what drew my attention to it was the word unstoppable. So of course I pulled it out, tried it on, and it fitted perfectly. And I absolutely loved it, but I wasn't in a position to buy it at the time, even though Gina twisted my almost rubber arm and I was so almost inclined to. I held off, and I decided that I would buy it to celebrate launching my inspirational words of wisdom cards, Make Your One Life Count cards. Which I did, and we had our launch last month, and I felt that it was my treat to myself. So here's where it gets juicy. So I called the shop last week and I said, look, it was about a month ago and you only had one size in my size. I just wondered if you still have it, thinking, is it likely? It's a very busy, popular shop. And I couldn't believe it. Well, I could believe it because miracles unfold in so many amazing ways. The lady said, I know exactly what sweater you're talking about, and I'm holding it in my hand. So she was on the phone talking to me. She was holding the sweater. I don't know why, I didn't question her, but there it was. It was there waiting for me, ready to pick up at the store. So this is my new sweater. It's a real form of celebration. And the reason primarily for that is because when I was given a prognosis of 2 months to live, I wasn't, buying new clothes wasn't top of mind, put it that way. And I think it takes quite a bit of courage to decide when is the time to buy something like a new item of clothing. I don't know how long I have, but do I come from that place of, I don't even know if it's scarcity, but of not wanting to buy anything for myself because I might not be here much longer. So this sweater is twofold for me. It broke through that. I treated myself, and it is a big deal to buy an item of clothing with the uncertainty of, without knowing how long I'm going to be here on earth. And also, of course, the word unstoppable just speaks volumes to me, and it gives me that extra juice that I need to keep going. So I wanted to share that really sweet story, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is my new sweater. And then the other thing I mentioned was about, I'm just looking at my notes. I like to keep my head focused. So I also wanted to mention about saying no. I said yes to this, but I've also said no a couple of times. Now, one of the reasons that I have felt so grim and glum over the last few days is I'm in quite a lot of pain at the moment. So one of the side effects of ovarian cancer is a bloated belly, and I've got that big time at the moment. I call it the super bloat, and I might wake up first thing in the morning and it's already bloated. And that is a completely depressing way to start the day, because I feel like I'm already down there. I can't sink much lower. Sometimes the super bloat kicks in about mid-afternoon, but at least I've had part of the day reasonably comfortable. And then it gets more uncomfortable as I eat my evening meal. But if it starts and I'm already really pregnant looking, then there's nowhere really to go. There literally is no movement there. So for various reasons, I am moving my pain control from morphine to methadone. And with methadone, what I understand is we have to start at zero and build it up, like building blocks for a house. It's not a matter of sort of kicking in at an amount the doctor believes is accurate for me. So this is my phrase. I am literally under medicating at the moment. The pain relief I'm on is not substantial enough for me. But I can't do anything about that because I have to increase incrementally, and it's every 4 days. So why I mention that to you is in case you were curious as to why I was in pain, but also because I said no to the morphine. Now, I've been on morphine since December. It's a long time to have been on it, and it was working very well for me, but there were various factors that were no longer working for me. And although they might have seemed minor, like one of them was I was constantly attached to a pump. And that meant that through various tubes, I had it attached to me at all times, and that was becoming more and more limiting and frustrating. Also, it was affecting my skin, constantly injecting into my skin 24 hours a day. So rather than settle and think, well, at least it's working and I'm having great pain relief, there were more disadvantages for me. So I said, no, I don't want to continue with that. And that was brave, because I've now sort of had to go back to the beginning and start from scratch with a new pain medication, which, as I say, is causing quite a lot of pain. So I just wanted to bring that up about saying no. And there was another no. Oh, that's right. So I think I mentioned that I incrementally increase by 1 milligram the methadone every 4 days. Now, if I were to go into the palliative care unit in hospital, that would be sped up. I would increase it every 2 days because, of course, I would get 24-hour care from the nurses and I would be supported. And so in many respects, if I wanted speed, that would be a great scenario. But the very prospect of going back into hospital and being on or in a bed all day simply so that my pain medication could be monitored really, really upset me when my doctor mentioned it to me. And I said no again because I weighed up that there was too much to lose by going into hospital. Yes, the pain meds would have been stabilized faster, but what would I have lost? The social interaction of being at home, the emotional support, the spiritual, mental support, the fact that I can potter about at home, I can take phone calls, I can do small things like put the laundry on or wash up or make myself a light meal. None of that would be possible in hospital. And of course, I'm not knocking being in hospital because hospital has saved my life on many occasions in the last 3.5 years. But on this occasion, that wasn't right for me. And I didn't want to just go down that route because that was what was offered. So again, I felt quite brave saying no to that. With deep respect, I would prefer to take it slower, run the risk of being in pain for a little longer, but staying at home and having all that support. Because after all, isn't it a quality of life that we're all striving for? And making our one life count can be subtle and small and seemingly insignificant, or it can be massive strides and real inspired action. But I believe that we're all here to make our one lives count. And in that moment, being in hospital, I didn't feel like I was making my one life count. So I guess the final part that I wanted to share with you in this video was my project number 2. Project number 1 was launching my Make Your One Life Count cards. Hang on, ta-da! And then the second project that I've had mulling in my head is the Make Your One Life Count map, which I've created, and I'm so excited to share just a little bit of a nugget with you right now, hopefully to pique your curiosity. I've made it a 5-day program, and you may think, oh my goodness, that's a short time, or oh, it's condensed. But quite frankly, a map can be looked at and revisited and checked and gone back to, and that's the idea of this. You can make it last as long as you want, but it will be live over 5 45-minute sections, Monday to Friday. I love being with my clients. I love interaction. I love group work. I love the community aspect of it, and I really, really missed that connection since August last year, and I wanted a little piece of that, and I want to share with you what I've learned, well, certainly since August 2018, but also prior to that, on this crazy journey that I've been on, how I have moved towards making my one life count, especially as my world gets smaller. I don't have a very expansive world at the moment, but I do believe that every day I am making my one life count, like I say, through small subtle ways, and I'd like to show you that. We're going to discuss decluttering, relationships, time management, and of course one of my biggies, gratitude. There are different themes we'll be discussing, and I have included a link below for you to check that out if you think that interests you or somebody else could benefit from it. I just can't wait to spend time with you and delve into this map. I'm also going to be doing some extra videos. We're going to be meditating together, doing some visualizations, doing my old favorite emotional freedom techniques, tapping, and prayer. So I very much hope you'll join me, and we'll be celebrating saying no, I've no doubt, and what we say yes to. So thank you for listening to my story. I'm pumped that I've got my unstoppable sweater. I'm pumped that I'm launching project number 2, and I'm so honored that you spent, about 13 minutes with me. Thank you so much, and big love to you today. Bye for now.